that injury for Jackson will suddenly turn into, a 2-week injury, 3-week injury, very mysteriously.
All right, the fantasy geeks want to know about Detroit's Kevin Jones. Will he play?
Kevin Jones is active today, not listed as the starter. Remember, this is a guy who was either A, supposed to miss the season, or B, put on the PUP list and missed the first 6 weeks of the season. So a big plus for the Lions just to get him out there.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. Up next, we'll go live to our game sites for more up-to-the-second scoopage. Our guys here will pick today's games, and Frank Caliendo has a very special guest. Week 3 is fast approaching, and the Lions are getting ready.
Yeah, we come in for one thing, and one thing only, and that's to win. 3-0. 3-0, 3. 1, 2, 3, 3-0. Let's go. What time is it? What time is it? In a dozen hours. In a dozen hours. What time is it? What time is it? In a dozen hours. In a dozen hours.
It's a father's job to teach his son some basic stuff, like how to throw a football. Now that he's older, I'm teaching him my specialty, how to man a grill. It's about timing and having quality ingredients. Timing comes with practice. Everything else comes from Walmart. If I'm going to teach him the value of $1, Walmart's the place to do it. I save more, so I get more. And when you're out here, the more the merrier. Save money, live better, Walmart.
Okay, guys, check this out. Ran the numbers. It looks like if you insure your car and your home with us, this is how much money we're gonna save you.
That's what I'm talking about, baby! Yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh,
Yeah!
State Farm's got football fever.
It's a good rate.
You'll get it too. To see how your car and home can save you money, call an agent or visit statefarm.com.
Watch out, Fridays. This is one of those tucking in the napkin, ordering a drink before my jeans even hit the booth kind of nights. So let's jar my taste buds out of hibernation with something I've never tried before. Something with one or preferably more of the following adjectives: fire-grilled, crusted, marinated, glazed. 3 courses totally up to me for just $12.99. Friday's 3-course menu is back, and so am I. Give me more Fridays.
It's the season premiere of the best night of drama on TV, Fox Tuesday. First, Bones is back on a new night with a premiere so surprising. Words can't describe it.
Us working together, very symbiotic.
What is it, the word of the day?
Bones. Then,
anybody here a doctor?
medicine's most brilliant mind is back, and he's hiring.
Wear a cup.
House, the season premiere after Bones. It all starts Tuesday at 8/7 Central on Fox.
NFL Sunday Ticket, brought to you by Volkswagen. When you get into a Volkswagen, it gets into you.
When you get into a Volkswagen, it gets into you.
Professional driver on a closed course.
Now through October 1st, get a 2008 Touareg 2B6 for only $399 a month.
Their day begins like yours. Quick breakfast, drive down to work. Another day on the job.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, ma'am.
But after all the pleasantries, we talk about the weekend. From that point on, it's all business.
Behind the leader. Perfect distance, and just to the left of the green. This is a very tricky shot. Good speed, right at it. Oh!
Don't just watch it, live it. Experience the ultimate in high definition with LG Full HD.
Coming up on Fox, Alex Smith and the 2-0 49ers visit Ben Roethlisberger and the 2-0 Steelers. It's a battle of unbeatens, and of course, the unbeatable Daryl Johnston is there to call it, and he kicks off our Coors Light 2-minute drill.
Well, thank you, Kurt. Well, the Steelers and Niners both sit at 2-0, but a much different feel when you talk to these two teams. The Steelers are brimming with confidence in Mike Tomlin's first year as head coach, but the 49ers still trying to find out what type of team they're going to be in 07. They're approaching this as a benchmark game, and it's going to be a lot harder for them as they lost Manny Lawson after Wednesday's practice for the season to a torn ACL. Now let's head down to Tampa Bay and check in with Tim Ryan.
All right, here in Tampa, the frustrated Rams come in with two major objectives. First, keep their quarterback, Mark Bulger, off the ground. He has been blasted the first couple of weeks of the season. Second, get Steven Jackson, the running back, more integrated into the offense. Expect 30 touches out of him. For the Bucs, Brian Kelly will be back in the lineup at corner. He missed last week with a groin injury. Now, let's go to Brian Baldinger. He's in Philadelphia.
Thanks, Tim. A couple of running backs that were questionable coming into today's game. Brian Westbrook of the Eagles, he will play and he wants a full load. And Kevin Jones, coming back from a Liz Frank injury, he wore a compression sleeve on his foot to keep the swelling down the flight yesterday. He's active and ready to go. The Eagles in the secondary are depleted. A couple of Pro Bowlers, Brian Dawkins and Lito Shepherd, both are out today. And then both teams starting tight ends, L.J. Smith and Dan Campbell. Neither will see action today. Now let's go to J.C. standing by in K.C.
What's up, fellas? It's been a secret all week long who was going to start at quarterback for the Vikings. Well, Kelly Holcomb told us last night he's known since Wednesday that he was starting today, but he'll be without some key guys. Chester Taylor, Tony Richardson, and Troy Williamson all inactive today. And you know, these two teams practice and scrimmage against each other in training camp every year, and they don't like each other. There's a lot of bad blood between these two teams, and both sides told us that that will carry over into the game today. Now let's go to Tim Hasselbeck in Baltimore.
Thanks, JC. Picture-perfect day here in Baltimore. Some injury news. Samari Rolle out with an illness. Good news for the Ravens, Steve McNair back in the starting lineup after missing last week with a groin. He told me he feels fine. For the Arizona Cardinals, Matt Leinart, coming off a strong performance last week, needs to play well again this week against a Ravens defense that feasts on young quarterbacks. Now let's send it back to the boys in L.A. and Kurt Menefee.
All right, thanks a lot. Tim Hasselbeck calling his first game for us here in Fox. Hopefully he enjoys the view from the broadcast booth.
I'll tell you what.
Okay, I just have to keep you
was
going
that an original
here.
Thought
do you want me to write that down for you?
Did they put that? Do you know what to write that down? What are you all about? I'm Pygmalion, you.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get back to that Niners-Steelers matchup. And we talked about 32nd ranked offense, but they are 2-0 mainly because their defense is playing so well.
Yeah, their defense mauled St. Louis in that patchwork offensive line last week. But, you know, my concern is on offense with Alex Smith. He's going to see a Dick LeBeau defense that the minute Bill Cowher left the building, Dick LeBeau dialed up all that old stuff that he's been wanting to run that Bill wouldn't let him run. He's going to see a whole bunch of blitzes.
Hey, 49ers, they got no shot. How about Philadelphia? Did you see the uniforms?
Yeah.
They may be embarrassed to even come on the field with that thing.
It's all about the attitude.
They're wearing it in honor of their 75th anniversary, by the way.
Those are terrible.
You know, last week, Frank Caliendo went 3-1 with his picks. Let's see if that record is as good as it gets and if he has any terms of endearment for the guys up here. Frank?
Oh, boy.
Yes, girls, I'm sure. Dog fighting is bad. Now, cat fights, that's another story. Quiet on the set. Oh, says who, Pork Chop? The director. Well, then bring him out here.
Jack! What are you doing here? This is a football show. You're a basketball guy.
Listen, me compadre, I know, but it's just fun to goof on those Fox guys. It's so simple.
Oh, yeah.
Watch. Hey, why doesn't Terry Bradshaw ever finish a book?
I don't know. Why?
Because he runs out of crayons.
That's a good one.
Hey,
Give me another one.
I'll do it right here. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Howie.
Howie who?
Howie gets so freaking big. The guy's a monster. Look at him.
This is fun. Hey, can I try one?
Yeah, knock yourself out, Mr.
What's
D.
the difference between Jimmy Johnson and a statue?
I don't know.
The statue's hair is softer. Jack, aren't you worried about ripping these football guys? They're tough, right?
I don't know what it is, Danny, but once they leave the field and go to the booth, they turn into pansies. A lot of them.
Not my guy, Aikman.
You kidding me? He wears more makeup than I did as the Joker. Take a look at this.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty.
What's the big deal with Belichick, huh? Old Jack's done a little secret video work, if you know what I mean. So, Danny, I know you got that show on FX. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm guessing that's not the story of the Philadelphia Eagles, if you know what I mean. In fact, they're so bad right now, their memorabilia was the only thing OJ didn't steal from the hotel room.
Allegedly.
Whatever. So the skinny on Philadelphia is this. Good show, bad team. Which brings me to my picks. It's not gonna get any sunnier in Philadelphia as I'm going with the Lions. I'll also take the Steelers over the Niners. Give me the Cowboys to beat the Bears. And for an upset, I'll go with the Dolphins to top the Jets. That's a wrap. Why don't you wrap your hands around another hoagie there, turtle? Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna teach these ladies about the nickel package. Then, maybe we'll talk some football, huh?
Terry, what are you doing? I think Frank had better stay out of Dallas for a little while, trust me. All right, hey, let's get to the picks. And before we do, let's take a look at the standings. And believe it or not, tied for first place, Howie Long and Terry Bradshaw.
What do you mean, believe it or not? What is
TB's,
that?
hey, you're coming off a perfect week.
That's
and
right.
a gutsy call by Jimmy Johnson last week, by the way, picking the Titans. They barely missed the upset over the Colts. And then again, that's kind of been par for the course. All of your upset picks have either won outright or been very, very, very close. But that's another story. All right, before we get to your upset picks, let's begin with your picks for today. And Detroit against Philadelphia, Terry, or Dallas-Pittsburgh we'll start with. I'm sorry, Dallas-Pittsburgh. I think it's Detroit-Philadelphia we're going with first.
Yeah. No,
all right, Detroit-Philadelphia. A little confusion here, but Frank took Detroit. Go ahead.
Right, I'm going Lions. Lions over the Eagles.
I'm going Lions, too.
Hey, I agree. If they're going to get to 10 wins, they need this one against Philly. Yep.
All right, let's deep insight right there. All right, let's go with the San Francisco 49ers at Pittsburgh.
This is easy. Worst offense in the league belongs to San Francisco. Driving across the country, hot Steeler team, Steelers.
I go with Steelers. I don't think they drove across the country. I think they flew.
Did they drive?
Yeah.
Oh, I say drove?
I think you did.
Well, I think my people understand what I was getting at. Your right? people? I got Pittsburgh. Your people?
All right, another clean sweep. How about the Cowboys at the Bears? Frank,
this is the one I want to hear. Who you got?
You know what?
Look at your sheet.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
I'm going with the Cowboys. Too.
Well, I'm not picking with my heart anymore. I'm going with my head. I'm going to pick Chicago.
Finally, someone picked a different one. Give me your upset specials. Frank had Miami over the Jets. What about you, TV?
I'm going with the Packers over San Diego.
Cincy over Seattle.
Head over heart, going with Green Bay.
All right, for those of you getting a late game only, we'll be right back. For everyone else, kickoff is next. And I ask you, what better way to enjoy your Sunday than watching a little football here on Fox? We'll see you at halftime.
Ford F-150 is equipped with vented disc brakes, standard on all four wheels. They're vented so they stay cooler, perform better, and maximize stopping power. So even though you'll probably never have to haul a 30,000-pound aircraft, at least you know you can stop one.
She had a terrible cold.
Terrible.
I was in pain. I couldn't sleep.
Migraines, mysterious stomach aches, flu, asthma.
Cold, strep throat. I got in a lot of sicknesses.
I'm always looking to see what kind of medication I can take, what category it is.
Now we're on WebMD all the time.
To find the right doctor.
Check my prescriptions.
I had hives one time, and it was like, what am I allergic to?
Organized information.
Medically reviewed. So we trust it.
I don't need millions of answers.
Just one good answer.
WebMD. Better information, better health.
We have been testing the Schick Quattro Titanium to see if it really is of the hissing. 3, 2, 1.
With 4 advanced blades, Quattro Titanium stays sharp to give you a close, smooth shave with less irritation.
Schick Quattro Titanium.
It's Pizza Hut's Pizzone. With over 1 pound of hunger-crushing cheese and toppings, you may experience unhunger. Unhunger. Get one for just $5.99 or 2 for $10.99. Get more full. Get America's favorite pizza. Pizza Hut, now online.
From Academy Award winner Paul Haggis comes a film the top critics are calling a must-see movie. Roger Ebert gives it 4 stars. A masterful film.
My son deserves better than
The
this.
San Francisco Chronicle raves it's a tautly paced, emotional thriller.
Somebody comes running at you, you kill him.
You have no idea what we did over there.
Jones gives the best performance of his career.
I want the truth.
From the director of Crash, Academy Award winners Tommy Lee Jones, Charlize Theron, and Susan Sarandon. In the Valley of Ella. Rated R. Now playing.
Nothing wrong with your television. Those are the Eagles wearing throwback uniforms dating back to their first game ever in Philadelphia. But the players inside have a sense of urgency this afternoon on a splendid day for football as we welcome you to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia as the Philadelphia Eagles take on the surprising Detroit Lions. And welcome everyone to the city of brotherly love. I'm Dick Stockton along with Brian Baldinger. And who would have guessed that the Lions would be the 2-0 team and the Eagles would come in 0-2. And of course today, Kevin Jones, who is the Philadelphia native, is going to make his first appearance of the year at running back for the Lions. He will not start, but will play. And Brian, what do you think will be the method of success for the Lions to upset the Eagles today?
Well, I think, Dick, that the Lions, for the first time, under offensive coordinator Mike Martz, have an identity. They're a passing team. In fact, they're the #1 passing team in the league right now, and they feature 4 very talented wide receivers. The 4 Jets is what Rod Marinelli calls them. Roy Williams, McDonald, Furry, and Calvin Johnson. The ball gets sprayed around to these guys evenly. You really can't go after one guy. And for this Lions offense, they're going up against an Eagles secondary that is depleted. The 2 Pro Bowlers, Brian Dawkins and Leader Shepard, neither one of them will play today. So the one thing is that when you throw the ball as much as the Lions do, a lot of bad things can happen when you pass it like that.
On the good side for the Eagles, of course, Brian Westbrook is going to play. Their tight end, L.J. Smith, is out. And, of course, around here, all roads come down to the quarterback. So how will Donovan McNabb, what's your feeling about him in today's game?
I've got a good feeling about him today, Dick. You know, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him. He said that they didn't play well in week 1, then they pressed in week 2, and I think he's relaxed now. I think it started in the 4th quarter of the Monday night loss where he completed 14 passes. He got into a rhythm. And I think today the big thing is he's playing without that knee brace on his right knee. He feels like he's fully healthy and he's ready to compete. I expect him to get the ball around to a lot of receivers today, and I expect Westbrook to give you a full day's work. Now, the one thing to watch today is the chess match between Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator of the Eagles, and the offensive coordinator of the Lions, Mike Martz. A lot of chess back and forth today.
So the stage is set. Coming up, it'll be the Lions against the Eagles.
You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV.
I took an NFL player to school. Maybe you can too.
It's the NFL Take a Player to School sweepstakes. Enter at NFLRush.com.
I want to win.
40 Super Bowl champions, 40 legendary tales, one groundbreaking series, America's Game. Get it on DVD now from...
They use it to shoot the game. They use it to broadcast the game. They use it to produce the game.
The main man on the field today is Peyton Manning.
So why wouldn't you use it to watch the game?
That's Peyton Manning.
Nice Sony. Scoot over a bit, will you?
Nothing compares to a Sony Bravia HD TV because high definition is in our DNA.
Anybody got any chips?
Introducing the DirecTV Rewards Visa, the credit card that gives you once-in-a-lifetime rewards money can't buy. Turn your ordinary purchases into extraordinary rewards. Imagine talking sports with your favorite athlete, dancing with celebrities at Hollywood parties, or taking your own walk on the red carpet. Earn points with every purchase. Redeem them for once-in-a-lifetime rewards. The DirecTV Rewards Visa, the credit card that gives you rewards money can't buy.
Did you know that on average a rental DVD is touched by 63 other people before you get to watch it?
Help the NFL and United Way rebuild communities. Find out how at unitedway.org.
Introducing the Chase Freedom Credit Card, now with triple rewards where you spend the most. So if it's gas stations and coffee shops 1 month, and the next month it's grocery stores, the gym, and department stores, Chase Freedom is the only credit card that adjusts as your everyday spending changes and gives you triple bonus rewards automatically. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
You've always loved the details, but you've never seen them like this. The full HD 1080p Aquos Liquid Crystal Television from Sharp.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Perfect weather conditions here in Philadelphia as you look at the skyline. As we're set to go here, the usual capacity and enthusiastic and sometimes critical crowd on hand. The Lions have won the toss, and David Akers will be kicking off. And back deep, Brian Calhoun, number 29, is the deep man, and Mike Furry in front of him. The Lions are looking for their first 3-0 start since the 1980 season. Beating the Vikings in overtime last week. Eagles losing on Monday to the Redskins, and it's going to be Calhoun at the 2. And Calhoun is tackled just shy of the 20-yard line by J.R. Reed, who is re-signed by the Eagles this week.
This is not a fluke of the Detroit Lions here. This offense is bona fide. They have legitimate weapons, and they've got a leader in Jon Kitna, who believes in his coaches, he believes in his players, and he's been kicked around for a long time in this league, but he knows what he's doing in this offense and loves it.
Had a concussion last week and came out of the game for 2 quarters. Calvin Johnson, the impressive rookie, starts, but it won't matter on this first play, and Broderick Bunkley, the second-year defensive tackle and the #1 pick from a year ago, gets a sack on Kitna and a loss of 6 yards.
Dick, in the spotlight today for the Detroit Lions and offense is Jon Kitna, who's come in completing over 70% of his passes. Kevin Jones, as we mentioned in the open, will play today, the late native from Philadelphia. We'll see his first action. And then the rookie, Calvin Johnson, number 81, in the slot right now, is big and talented.
Second down from inside the 15, and Kitna in trouble again. Trying to get it to Roy Williams, but that pass virtually out of bounds. It'll be 3rd down, and Bunkley again putting big-time pressure on Kitna. And it's no secret, Jim Johnson is coming with the pass rush early.
Well, that's the key. Jon Kitna is very good and can complete 70% of his passes if he's on one spot. If he doesn't have to move, you got to make him move off his spot to change his delivery, to change his release.
And there's the chess game between Mike Martz and Jim Johnson. This is the 7th time they have matched wits. in their careers. 3rd down and 17. Kitna on the run, and the pick pass batted away, and Darren Howard was right there. And not an impressive opening series for Mike Martz and the Lions, who have to punt.
Well, 3 straight incompletions, and a lot of it was they made Kitna move, and they put pressure on him. And I think the key today is obviously putting pressure on him, but how do you get to the pressure?
Nick Harris will be kicking, and Reno Mahe back deep for the Eagles. Could be good field position for Philadelphia. Mahe at the 33, and he is finally brought down at the 44-yard line. And so the Eagles going on offense. And right now, let's send it down to the 3rd member of our team, Jennifer Hammond.
And, you know, you mentioned that these uniforms look a little bit different today for the Eagles, Dick, and it's because they date back to 1933. They look like the Swedish colors, and they are. Swedes settled the area. William Penn decided that the team that came here would wear these. Since then, obviously, they've changed them to green and white, but they're wearing them today to honor the 75th anniversary.
And, Jennifer, they were the official colors of the city of Philadelphia, blue and yellow. Of course, later on, they went to green.
They look nice together.
That's an opinion. 1st and 10 at the 44. And Donovan McNabb, as Brian mentioned, not wearing the knee brace, out of the shotgun on 1st down, gets a block and completes to Kevin Curtis. And Curtis close to the 1st down. Curtis is developing into one of his favorite receivers. He's wearing a sleeve as Donovan McNabb to keep that knee warm. And there it is.
It's a big step for anybody coming back from an ACL injury, from a knee reconstruction, is that first day when you let the brace go. Mentally, you're saying to yourself, enough about this injury, enough conversation about it. I'm healthy and ready to play, and he wants to show everybody that he's ready to do those things.
1st down for the Eagles into Lion territory, and here's Brian Westbrook. And Westbrook picking up 3.5 yards on 1st down.
Nick, in the spotlight for the Eagles today on offense, it starts with Donovan McNabb. I thought he had a good 4th quarter, and I think it's time for him to parlay that into a full 4-quarter game today. Westbrook has been overused. They need to get somebody else involved. Who today, without L.J. Smith, the tight end, somebody else is going to have to step up and take the load of those two.
Well, Westbrook has not been overused as a running back. He's looking for a lot more carries than he's gotten. And McNabb has plenty of time, and this pass is caught by Curtis. He grabs it at the 25-yard line for 17 yards. So McNabb and Curtis hooking up twice, with Kanoy Kennedy making the tackle.
Well, here you see just a one-on-one coverage here on the outside with Kevin Curtis. Travis Fisher, he runs just a dig. All kinds of room involved. And the thing that's different about the Lions team versus what the Eagles saw the first 2 weeks, they won't see as much tight man-to-man coverage. The receivers should look more open.
And that receiver, Curtis, played 3 years for Mike Martz when he was in St. Louis. So a 1st down at the 25-yard line. And here's Westbrook again off the left side, finding running room. And Westbrook will go in for the touchdown. Five-yard run by Westbrook, and it's only the 2nd touchdown scored by the Eagles in this young season.
Well, if there were any questions about the injured knee of Brian Westbrook coming into today, they just got answered. Didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday, but he looked good and fresh on Friday, and even better on that run.
Had the sore knee in the 4th quarter, came out for a play against the Redskins. Here is Akers with the extra point. So a big start for the Philadelphia Eagles defense. And on offense, here is Westbrook with a 25-yard touchdown run.
Thanks, folks. I gotta get going. Cindy, keep my plane ready a little later. We're not finished yet. Cindy, I got stuck on a client call. Cindy, something else just came up. Oh, yeah. Hey, Cindy.
Your plane is ready.
Thanks, Cindy. You're the best.
With so many convenient non-stop flights, you'll feel like you have your own company plane. You can count on Southwest Airlines to get you there on time with friendly customer service.
You are now free to move about the country.
I work in the movies.
It's Monty?
Later. I'm a kind of star, I guess. I live in Hollywood, but I work on Broadway in New York. Thank you. In Tombstone, Arizona. A part of South America you might not have heard of. Hi. Hi, Klaus. And London, England. Hi, I'm in the middle of something. Right. So I need a network that works where I live. A place called Holyoke, South Maryland.
Monty.
Monty, what's the deal?
The new AT&T works in more places like Holyoke, South Maryland.
The Ford F-150 is equipped with vented disc brakes, standard on all 4 wheels. They're vented so they stay cooler, perform better, and maximize stopping power. So even though you'll probably never have to haul a 30,000-pound aircraft, at least you know you can stop one.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient non-stop flights, it's like having your own company plane.
Take a look at the touchdown run of Brian Westbrook and the blocking that got done for him, especially on this left side. The rookie Brent Selleck here at tight end. Excellent job there, sealing the line of scrimmage. Selleck gets up to the linebackers, and bam. Now this is Westbrook at his best. Nobody can cut off either 1 foot or 2 feet. Either way, quite like Brian Westbrook in this league right now.
Once again, Akers will be kicking off. A 4-play, 56-yard scoring drive, and McNabb hitting Curtis for his 2 completions. Ryan Calhoun returning for the Lions. And he steps out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Well, John Kitna hope he gets a little better protection on this, the second series, with his team down 7-0.
What are you doing?
Should we pick him up? He has Bud Light.
He has an axe.
But he has Bud Light.
And an axe.
I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Hey, buddy. What's with the axe?
It's a bottle opener.
Hop in.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Look, here's Bud Light.
And a chainsaw.
That's cold.
Now when the Saints come marching in, I when the Saints go marching in, yes, I want to be in that number.
Visa makes it easier for NFL fans to get ready for game day. Life takes Visa.
It's Pizza Hut's Pizzone. With over 1 pound of hunger-crushing cheese and toppings, you may experience unhunger.
Unhunger.
Get 1 for just $5.99 or 2 for $10.99. Get more full. Get America's favorite pizza. Pizza Hut, now online.
The Ford F-150 has massive lower front control arms and rear shock absorbers mounted outside the frame rails, giving it the highest available payload in its class. And giving you unbelievable handling and control. Now that's forward thinking.
Lions are hoping this isn't a carbon copy of the 04 season. They began the year 2-0. They played the Eagles at home and got blown out 30-13. First down on the 26 for John Kitna and company. And Tatum Bell, and not much there.
In the spotlight for this Eagles defense today are a couple of players. Javon Kearse is one. He's got 1 solo tackle the first 2 weeks. They need more pass rush and more playmaking ability from him. William James, the left cornerback, now taking over for Lito Shepherd. He had an interception on Monday night, but he needs to be active. He's going to get a lot of chances. And then Quentin Michael, really in the spotlight, taking over for Brian Dawkins as a starter today.
Well, Mike Martz would like to take advantage of it, but John Kitna's going to need some time, and maybe the running game can open it up. Here's Tatum Bell off the left side, and nothing there. And Gokong, the linebacker, coming up to make the play. Sheldon Brown also involved on the play and a loss of 2.
But I don't think anybody fears the Lions running game right now. But they do fear a passing attack, even on 3rd and 13 here. And the Eagles are looking to really press these wide receivers today. Roy Williams, Mike Furry, get up on them and not let these guys get started down the field. But their leading receiver is in the slot, Sean McDonald.
3rd down and 13. Pressure again on Kitna. Making the catch, however, is Roy Williams in stride. And he's got 2 players to beat. And finally brought down at about the 25-yard line and inside a 55-yard catch and run. And Joselio Hansen prevented the touchdown as Kitna got hit as he threw.
Here's Roy Williams going to be dragging across the formation here. This is tight man-to-man now. Sheldon Brown on the coverage. Kitna got hit on the play, but this is what is so dangerous about these receivers, what they're capable of doing after the catch. And for 2 years now, John Kitna has been telling everybody Roy Williams is the best receiver in football.
Caught a touchdown pass last week against the Vikings and had 111 yards. And a 1st down, and the quick pass down the middle to Sean McDonald, and McDonald stopped from scoring, and that was another touchdown saving tackle, this time by William James. So 21 yards, and just in a blink, the Lions will have 1st and goal inside the 5.
It's not a fluke that this is the #1 passing offense in football. I mean, Sean McDonald was brought in here from St. Louis. Mike Martz coached him there, raised him there. He's the 4th wide receiver now, but he leads this team in receptions.
Kevin Jones into the game for the first time. Hasn't played since last December. And he gets the call, and Jones scores. And what a feeling. Kevin Jones scoring the touchdown, a native of Chester, Pennsylvania. And his father, Thomas, was a construction foreman in the building of Lincoln Financial Field, and he scores for the Lions.
Runs right behind Woody and Raiola here in the middle. Good lead block. Dual power football. What a feeling. Kevin Jones has not carried a football since last year. But his first carry, the Cardinal O'Hara alumni, scores on his first carry of the season.
Jason Hansen for the extra point. And Hansen, who kicked the game-winning field goal in overtime last week. Game is tied. Kevin Jones as the Lions come back big.
The Ford F-150 is equipped with vented disc brakes, standard on all 4 wheels. They're vented so they stay cooler, perform better, and maximize stopping power. So even though you'll probably never have to haul a 30,000-pound aircraft, at least you know you can stop one.
It's time for the ultimate football experience at Sears. High-def TV, surround sound, and big-time savings. Like right now, buy any Panasonic HDTV with your Sears card, save up to $250, or get no interest for up to 24 months. Add a high-def DVD player or an audio system, score free delivery. Touchdown dance is optional. This season, make every game a home game. Sears, where it begins.
John, you guys never quit tonight.
Every down, every play, that's our motto.
Every down, every play. That's our motto. How important is your leadership to this defense?
There's 11 leaders on their defense.
To me, there's 11 leaders on this defense. How long can you enjoy a win like this one?
He's already thinking about next week.
To be honest, I'm already thinking about next week.
Say hi to the kids.
I'd like to say hi to my kids, Jake, Lindsay, Lily.
And Leah.
And Leah.
With the all-new NFL.com's in-depth player coverage, you'll know your favorite players better than ever.
Did you see that?
At the all-new NFL.com.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. Go on, live life, and remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. By Sears, where it begins. By Bud Light, refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. And by the Ford F-150, built Ford tough.
Crowd quieted here in Philadelphia as the Lions come back to tie it up in spectacular fashion. How about the Lions? Minus 10 yards in the first 5 plays, and then they get 77 on the next 3.
Well, that's what's different about the Lions this year is no matter what the score is, they can come back. Probably as good as any team in this game right now.
Boy, that's a huge advantage for any team. Jason Hanson on the kickoff and Carell Buckhalter on the return for the Eagles. And he is hit about the 23-yard line by Casey Fitzsimmons. So Donovan McNabb and the Eagles offense go back to work when we come back.
The Ford F-150 has massive lower front control arms and rear shock absorbers mounted outside the frame rails, giving it the highest available payload in its class. And giving you unbelievable handling and control. Now that's forward thinking.
HD?
HD.
Thoughts?
Lots of thoughts. LCD, plasma.
Kiva surround sound, head spinning.
Deep breath. Likes?
Cowboy explosions, touchdown robots.
Cooking, tearjerkers, crime dramas.
Sing-along musicals.
This system, LG Home Theater, perfect fit. Mechanically inclined?
Emergency room inclined.
We install.
We pledge a complete home theater experience and now save $200 off an LG HD TV with installation. That's HD done right at Best Buy.
It's all about the speed. It's all about the control. It's all about the cars. The competition. The modding. The drifting. It's all about Juice 2 Hot Import Nights. Rated T for Teen.
Tonight, the season premiere of what Time Magazine calls the best TV show
Ever.
ever.
You contributed to our culture.
Well, I didn't mean to.
The season premiere tonight on the only place for all new Simpsons, Fox.
And we're back here in Philadelphia. The Lions and the Eagles tied at 7-7, and Philadelphia will start from the 23-yard line. 75th season of the Eagles in Philadelphia. And who knows, if they get the job done today, you may see these uniforms a few more times before it's over.
Now doesn't want to see them anymore.
That's for sure. Here's Westbrook, who scored the touchdown, and he tests the middle of the line and picks up nearly 4 yards.
You know, we were talking to Brian Westbrook on Friday, and we're asking about his knee and his health, and didn't practice on Wednesday and Thursday. He practiced on Friday, and he's carried and touched the ball 51 times the first 2 weeks, and people are like, you know, you gotta pace him a little bit more, but he's so good. It's so hard not to give him the ball every play, and that's something that the Eagles offense are constantly fighting.
He has accounted, Brian, for 47% of the Eagles' attack so far this year.
And that's too much. The ball's got to get spread around to other players.
2nd down and 7. On the design rollout is McNabb. And smartly throws it away. He knew he was in trouble and threw it away. Well, the Lions defense will be in the spotlight today against McNabb and this good offense from Philadelphia.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, it starts up front with Shaun Rogers, who is one of the most disruptive forces in all of football. You got to block him every play. Ernie Sims, in his 2nd year right now, the weak side linebacker, is a tackling machine, speed. And then Gerald Alexander has come in as a rookie to start to take over for Daniel Bullocks, who's out for the season with an injury.
Eagles way down there, only 3 for 21 on 3rd down conversions. They need 7 yards as the Lions come up to the line. Out of the shotgun, and here comes the safety blitz. And McNabb beats it with a pass to Reggie Brown. And they're going to blow it dead at the 45-yard line, a gain of 19. So he got rid of the ball in a hurry and a pickup of 19.
And it's just a pinpoint pass. I mean, the Lions came with some pressure. It was well picked up, good protection. And maybe he throws the ball a little bit differently without that brace, Dick, because he stepped into that throw, got his hips into it, and it got exactly where he wanted to get it to.
What does it mean for him not to have the brace as far as the psychological aspect?
That the bad thing that happened to him last year against Tennessee is over. I've cut the cord. It's time to go play now.
1st down at the Eagles 45 in a 7-7 game. Play fake. Here's pressure coming from the outside. And McNabb is going to run with it, and unlike past years, will gingerly step out of bounds as he gets into Detroit territory after picking up 6.
Yeah, you know, we were talking to the head coach of the Lions, Rod Marinelli, about Donovan McNabb if he looks different.
And there's a flag down, too.
Yeah. He looks different to him, and he said no. He said he might not have the plays down the field with his legs he once did, but he can still scramble and buy time like he used
While
to.
the quarterback was in the pocket, illegal contact, defense, number 53. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Gene Steratore, the referee, and Paris Lennon committing the foul.
Just watch Donovan here. I mean, you know, he avoids the rush on the backside of Corey Smith. Now he's able to get away. This looks like the old Donovan McNabb, just in a retro uniform.
In an old uniform, an old quarterback in an old uniform.
He said, you know, retro, I don't mind. He goes, why not Harold Carmichael's era, 1978,
Those are
1980.
Nice. Kelly Green. First down on the 44, and the good opening there to Brian Westbrook. They opened up a great hole there. And a pickup of 15 yards and a first down. And right now for game break, let's check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
All right, Dick. 49ers at the Steelers. Allen Rossum takes the kickoff 98 yards. That was after the 49ers had scored a field goal to take the lead. That lead didn't last long. It's 7-3 Pittsburgh. Back to Dick and Baldy.
Now that guy was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, Allen Rossum, out of Notre Dame a little over 10 years ago. Still doing it in this league.
Westbrook is lined up at the top of your picture as a wide receiver. And coming in motion, the hand up to Terrell Buckholter. Buckholter did not carry at all last week, and he gets 3 yards on first down here as the Eagles threaten again. It's a fast-moving and a crisp offensive game we're seeing so far.
But, you know, Buckholter carried at that time. But Brian Westbrook went in motion. And even though he didn't get the ball, he still ran 40 yards at full speed. So even when they try to give him a rest, they're still using him as a decoy because he's just that skilled where everybody's game plan to stop the Eagles, stop Westbrook first.
Second down and 7. And a quick pass out to Kevin Curtis. Tried the second effort. You can see where he is stopped about a yard shy of the first down at the 20. And the Eagles get 6 more yards and the first catch of this first quarter by Kevin Curtis.
Interesting. I was talking to Kevin Curtis before the game, and he came into the league with Mike Martz in St. Louis and learned how to play wide receiver for Mike Martz. He said nobody could be harder on you day in, day out, play in, play out than Mike Martz. He said it's not quite so hard in Philadelphia, but the way that you have to practice is the same, high tempo.
Third down and 1, and the handoff to Thomas Tapeh. And Tapeh picking up more than enough for the first down. And now the helmets are down there, and one of the Lions has lost his hat, and it looks like Dwayne White, one of the defensive linemen.
Now, you always wonder when a defensive lineman loses his helmet, like how he lost it. Did it get pulled off? Did it get snapped off? And then somebody hit him after the play, but I don't see any flags on the field right now.
So no penalties there. And of course, if you take it off, then you're guilty of a penalty.
Yeah, he didn't take it off. It got ripped off. See, I mean, there's
John Runyon with a little shove.
Yeah, Runyon there just gave him a paw to the neck.
And here is the flip to Westbrook off the outside, and Westbrook driving. And he is knocked out of bounds at about the 5-yard line by Gerald Alexander. So Westbrook once again has been a key feature of this Eagle offense, and they threaten as we have 4:14 left in the first.
You know, it was interesting. Brian Westbrook went to practice on Friday after not practicing Wednesday and Thursday, and he said, practice is good for me. It loosens up my knee. It actually makes it feel better to get out there and work it. And I would say what he's done already in this game is that is all paying off. They haven't been good in the red zone. It's an area where they bogged down in the first 2 weeks.
First and goal at the 5, and you can see the Eagles have not been successful in the red zone. Here's Westbrook. Loses the ball. Touchdown. He was over. The ball crossed the plane, so it is no fumble. Westbrook gets the touchdown. Just barely, I might add.
Well, it was ruled a touchdown. Now, it is a challengeable call. We'll take a look here from our slash camera from the corner. Good block by Thomas Tapeh, sealing it.
Kennedy was the first to hit him, and then Paris Lennon came over and knocked the ball away. And the question is, did it break the plane?
I would say right there that it is over the plane. And that's how it was ruled. Now, I expect a challenge.
They've got one. They got one, and this is an obvious one. Rod Marinelli is challenging the ruling on the field.
Well, it's huge. It's huge because Detroit came up with the ball. Now, when it's ruled a touchdown, the evidence has to go against that ball not crossing the plane before it came out, Dick.
Detroit is challenging the ruling on the field of a touchdown.
And we're going to take a break as the Eagles, at this point, lead it 13-7. We'll see.
When you have a family, it's always a good time to buy.
It's a great move-up market.
In this market, there's a lot of options.
The interest rates are low.
It didn't make sense for us to spend the same amount of money renting something when we could own it.
Working with a realtor took all the guesswork out.
This is the best market in years in terms of choice.
Interest rates are at historic lows. Home choices have increased and prices are favorable. Every market's different. Call a realtor today.
If we didn't buy now, we would have missed the opportunity on this home.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on Fox. Drama K-Ville at 9. Viewer discretion advised. Tomorrow on Fox.
You can check on the rep, yep, second to none.
I took an NFL player to school. Maybe you can too.
It's the NFL Take a Player to School sweepstakes. Enter at NFLRush.com.
I want to win.
Back here in Philadelphia, Rod Marinelli challenging the ruling on the field that Westbrook carried the ball that crossed the plane before he fumbled it. And remember, it has to be indisputable visual evidence for the call to be changed than the ruling on the field. It is close, though, Brian.
It's very close. I don't think the one angle we have of it, Dick, really can tell you whether he was crossed the plane of the goal line or not. You don't know right there. But if you don't know, then you can't change it. And Gene Steratore, our referee today, has already told us that the new monitors that they're looking at are in high definition. He said it's an unbelievable picture. They can see things better than they've ever seen them before. And I think when he looks at that shot, I don't know how you can rule against what it was ruled as a touchdown.
Well, here he comes.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is a touchdown. The ball broke the plane. Detroit will be charged with its first timeout.
It was a good challenge, and it was a good ruling when Steratore looked at the replay. They didn't have enough to change it, and so Brian Westbrook with his second touchdown of the game. And the Eagles, who had not scored in the first quarter, now trying to get their 14th point. David Akers. And the Eagles lead it 14-7 over the Detroit Lions. Already a full day for Mr. Westbrook.
What's better than watching your team spank your brother-in-law's team? Watching it in high definition. Trust me. And the best place to get your new HD TV? Walmart. They've got all the best brands for prices you can't beat. Samsung, Sanyo, Sony, Vizio, you name it. Now you can tell your brother-in-law that he paid more for his HD TV than he had to. Life is sweet. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Money should not sit around. It should be invested.
Right, like in a nice car.
I'm talking about something that could actually increase in value.
Well, a really nice car can increase in value.
Really?
Really?
I'd put it in Fidelity Mutual Funds. I'd pick 4- and 5-star funds.
And you can drive it.
You're not going to win this argument.
No matter what kind of investor you are, Fidelity can help you make a smart move. Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Contact Fidelity for prospectus containing this information. Read it carefully.
Gordon Ramsay is transforming America's worst restaurants at Fox Wednesday. It's the story that made national headlines, and Gordon's dying to show you.
Green burgers kill people.
The new hit Kitchen Nightmares. Viewer discretion advised. All new Wednesday at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
On the premiere of Sports Science, is hang time a myth or reality? The science of human flight is put under the microscope. Sports Science premieres next weekend on FSN.
Well, the baseball playoff race heating up, and the Phillies right in the middle of it. Cubs in the Reds Saturday. Some will see the Nationals take on the Phillies. Padres squaring off against the Brewers. Every game having playoff implications, and the Phillies are a red-hot team. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, in high definition only on Fox. Check your local listings for the game and start time in your area. So after a Lion punt to begin the game, we've had 3 straight touchdown drives. And now David Akers will be kicking off for the 3rd time, and Brian Calhoun is back deep for Detroit. Calhoun at the 1. Gets hit once, and it gets the job done as Matt McCoy slows him down, and a 24-yard return. So here comes John Kitna, who's completed 2 of 4 for 75 yards. And said it was a miracle that he was able to come back last week. And the key for those people that wonder about concussions is that he never lost consciousness. They called it a mild concussion. He passed all the tests, and they gave him an extra quarter to come back. So he was hurt early in the 2nd, and he came back in the 4th.
Well, he threw a touchdown pass in between there and doesn't remember anything about it.
First down at the 25. Kitna getting pressure again, and the screen pass up the middle goes to no one in particular.
Kevin Jones, who has scored the 1 touchdown for Detroit today, has been out since last season, middle of last season, with a Liz Frank injury. And this is the sleeve that he wore today, a compression sleeve. Wore it on the flight yesterday so that when you travel it doesn't swell. Just trying to keep it as normal as possible. Getting ready for his 2007 debut this afternoon.
2nd down and 10. Getting his pass. They're trying to go to Roy Williams, but the Eagles are there, and it'll bring up 3rd down. And for a game break, let's check in again with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
All right, Dick, Chargers and Packers, how pretty is this pass? Phillip Rivers finds Vincent Jackson, and the Chargers find a quick 7-3 lead over the Pack. Back to Dick and Baldy.
You know, Dick, 10 teams came into today 0-2. Packers, one of those surprising 2-0 teams. 10 with 2-0, and San Diego trying to get one up in Lambeau.
3rd down and 10, and there's the slant. Flag is down as it looked like Sean McDonald stopped his route, and the penalty flag thrown at the 26.
Illegal formation. Offense number 72 was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
So the Lions will have to kick as George Foster.
Well, all that means is that the wide receiver didn't cover up the tackle. You've got to cover up the line of scrimmage, and so it wasn't on George Foster, it was on a receiver that wasn't on the line of scrimmage. I'm sure that's what John Kitna is upset about.
So Nick Harris will be kicking, and Reno Mahe back deep. Mahe catches it at the 22 and is written out of bounds at the 32-yard line by Casey Fitzsimmons. 3:13 remaining in the 1st, and the Eagles in front of the Lions 14-7. And Donovan McNabb, he knows that people have been talking on the outside. He says, look, it's the story of my career here. And of course, the big latest story was on the television show in which he said that African-American quarterbacks get criticized a little more than the white quarterbacks and have to do more. And of course, that raised a furor all around the league.
And I said to him, will it change if you win a Super Bowl in Philadelphia? And he said he didn't think so. And I do believe that it would change. That the perception, the way that people accept him, not only just accepted, but memorialized here in Philadelphia forever.
From the 32, play action on first down. McNabb is going deep. And there is Curtis, and will go in for the touchdown. You get the feeling, and Donovan McNabb told us that Kevin Curtis developing into a kind of comfortable receiver for him, and is he ever? 68 yards for the score.
We said somebody else had to step up for this offense today, and that's one way to step up. The deep balls have been there this year. They have missed by a little, but Andy Reid said if you miss by a little, you miss by a lot. That one was right on target.
And it is now 20-7, and David Akers on to kick the extra point for the Eagles. And the kick is good. So Donovan McNabb coming back. 2 touchdowns by Westbrook, and now this one.
Well, there's Curtis right at the end, working on Stanley Wilson. A little double move there. The safety's bit on the dig route over the middle. Gerald Alexander, number 42, went on the underneath route. They got exactly what they wanted. They wanted Stanley Wilson isolated. Nice little fake to the outside. Safety bites. Just lay it up there. Just don't mess it up. Just put some air under the ball. Let their fastest receiver go get it.
Well, now it'll be interesting to see after one of his former players, Mike Martz, going to work again. One play, 68 yards for the score, and the Eagles couldn't ask for more. They've had the ball 3 times, and they have scored 3 touchdowns. And David Akers will kick off again. 21-7 here in the first quarter, and still 3:04 remaining.
Well, we're looking at a picture there of the defensive line, Corey Redding and Sean Rogers, and if you get those guys blocked in the middle, like they did in the last throw, McNabb will have vision and time to make the deep throw. I don't think you can ever count out this Detroit Lion offense to make up 2 touchdowns, especially when we're still in the first quarter.
And they haven't really been able to take advantage of the secondary, the depleted secondary. The Eagles have. Jim Johnson has kind of disguised that pretty well. But we'll see what happens here. Brian Calhoun returning the kick from the 4. And a good return by Calhoun. And gets beyond the 30, almost to the 35-yard line. Well, are you surprised that the Eagles, who really had the injuries on defense, and we know what Mike Martz can do, have really taken away the offensive game from Detroit?
Well, you know, this is a game it's long. I mean, you look at what they're doing, and then you start to make some adjustments. And one thing John Kitten has said to us, he said, there's always an answer for everything that the defense does to us. And maybe they'll have the answer here on this drive.
From the 35, Kevin Jones, who scored the touchdown, going outside. And he was tackled hard and picking up maybe 2 with Takeo Spikes on the pursuit.
Mike Martz has come in, and we visited with Mike for about an hour yesterday, and you can never not come away and learn something about the passing game or football when you talk to Mike Martz. And he is supremely confident in what this offense is capable of doing.
And glad to be in Detroit. He said he was going to take a year or more off, and he says, I just wanted to fade away, but Rod Marinelli talked him into it, and he's glad he did. Pass is caught by Roy Williams and tackled immediately at the 41-yard line. They'll be shy by about 3.5 yards, thanks to Sheldon Brown, and a gain of 6.
You know, Dick, you've mentioned the depleted secondary of the Eagles, and I guess what you worry about when you lose a guy like Brian Dawkins, you lose the heart of the defense. But the key is when you make a catch, like Roy Williams did, you got to tackle the catch. What these guys are so dangerous at is what they do after the catch. That play right there, they stop the play from going any further.
And you know the Eagles are aware of making that tackle. So it's 3rd down and 3. And Kitten is stepping up, and the pass intended for Williams. There was some contact contact out there at the 45, but no flags are down. And it was Sheldon Brown who was playing Roy Williams awfully tough. 4th down and another punting situation.
Well, the game plan for the Eagles in the secondary today is whoever is battling these receivers, not let these guys get off the line of scrimmage. Get your hands on them. So Roy Williams right there, I mean, that's just missed timing. I mean, Sheldon Brown is shadowing him, but he never got back to the spot where Kittner was throwing.
So Nick Harris on again. Mahe with the fair catch. It bounces, and when it bounces like that, sometimes it can bounce off an Eagle, and it's a free ball. That it'll be Philadelphia's ball, and they'll mark it at about the 22-yard line.
Well, I think the Eagles defense has to feel great about what they've been able to do. Now, they've kept Detroit on 3 of the 4 possessions right now and limited them to no first downs. You know, just the one drive right now, a couple of plays. And
well, Donovan McNabb, while the defense is doing the job, look what the offense is doing, and that's a pretty big chunk of yards. 56, 77, and 68 for their 3 scores.
And what was missing from this Eagle offense in the first 2 losses was the big play. They only had 2 plays on offense over 20 yards in the passing game. Already they've eclipsed that this afternoon.
First down at the 22, and Brian Westbrook and Correll Buckholter are both in the lineup. McNabb has time, drills it, and the pass caught by Curtis at the 40, and Kevin Curtis gets it out to the 45-yard line, a 23-yard gain. So Curtis has caught 5 passes for about 126 yards and a score.
Watch the linebackers here in this play action. Watch what they do. See, they all step up. Now watch the opening of where this pass comes. Right where the linebackers could be if it wasn't such a good play action and honoring Brian Westbrook.
And you talked about who's going to step up in this game offensively, and Kevin Curtis has been the guy for the Eagles. First down as we near a minute remaining in the first quarter. The ball at the 45, and there's McNabb, and the pass is caught. Curtis again. That's 6 receptions in this first quarter for Kevin Curtis, and Donovan McNabb is getting great protection from the offensive line.
Donovan told us that he likes Kevin Curtis. You know, he came down to Arizona, worked out with him in the offseason. In fact, this past Tuesday, after the Monday night game, they went into the bubble at the practice facility. They worked on timing and on routes together because they thought they weren't very far away. And today, it looks like all that work is beginning to pay off.
Brian, that's got to pay off when you spend that extra time together.
It's like in a good relationship. You know, they're going to want to spend time with each other.
Well, we're going to have to do that ourselves. Second down and 2, and the swing pass out to Westbrook. And Westbrook finding his way, has a first down and more, and gets to the 39 of the Lions, gaining 8 yards, and the clock stopping with 22 seconds.
You know, the Lions are going up against an offensive line today that is now starting their 19th straight game together, going back to last season. This is a very healthy and familiar group, and right now, protection-wise, and really all phases of the game, they really can't play any better together than they are.
This crowd has to love it. I mean, they're getting a day full of sunshine. They're seeing some strange-looking uniforms, and the Eagles have a great quarter. That is the end of the first quarter with the score. The Eagles 21 and the Lions 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages.
Their day begins like yours. Quick breakfast, drive down to work. Another day on the job.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, ma'am. But after all the pleasantries, we talk about the weekend. From that point on, it's all business.
You're watching Fox NFL Sunday.
Rated T for team. Every second is crucial. Every shot is vital. And every frame, unforgettable. Just another day on the job when you're the stuntman.
They use it to shoot the game. They use it to broadcast the game. They use it to produce the game.
The main man on the field today is Peyton Manning.
So why wouldn't you use it to watch the game?
It's Peyton Manning.
Nice Sony. Scoot over a bit, will you?
Nothing compares to a Sony Bravia HD TV because high definition is in our DNA.
Anybody got any chips?
Are you game for an all-new Fox Thursday? Things are gonna get wild when two women chase $1 million payout. First, on an all-new Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, Jeff has his hands full with a hands-on contestant.
I am totally confused.
You're making my brain hurt.
Then, get ready for the most exciting, thrilling, rocking, hair-flipping, heart-pounding, Wayne Bradying, possible millionaire-making.
All right.
All new, don't forget the lyrics. It all starts Thursday at 8, 7 Central on Fox. Are you game?
Introducing the amazing new series that analyzes sports like you've never seen before. Sports Science premieres next weekend, only on FSN.
Start of the second quarter, the Eagles lead the Lions 21-7. Is anyone happier than the people manning that booth? That's the McNabb family. And they've got to be delighted with what Donovan has done in this first quarter. First and 10 for Philadelphia. Westbrook. And for a game break, let's return to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
All right, Dick, the Houston Texans fighting Indy hard, but check this run out by Addae, or should we say a leap. Joseph Addae leapfrogs the Colts into the lead. It's 14-10. Dick and Baldy?
All right, thank you very much, Kurt. And Teddy Lehman has gone in for Paris Lennon at middle linebacker for the Lions. It'll be second down and 6. Buckhalter breaks a tackle. And Buckhalter finally brought down by the rookie Alexander, but not until he gets to the 11. A 24-yard gain by Karel Buckhalter.
Well, they're just pounding the left side right here. The Lions actually are in a run-stopping defense. They're in a bear defense there that Buddy Ryan made famous, where they cover up the center and the 2 guards, and they just split them. Jamal Jackson gets up on the linebacker. They run by Corey Redding there. And so a defense designed to stop the run, they just got creased.
104 yards rushing by the Eagles, 0 for the Lions. It'll be first and 10 at the 11-yard line. And here is Westbrook. And not this time. Loss on the play by about a yard. Will bring up second down and 11. Corey Smith made the play with Teddy Lehman, who just came in.
What a luxury it is to have an offensive line like this. And the longest streak in the league right now of starters. Thomas and Harriman's. Jackson, Sean Andrews missed most of preseason with a foot injury. And, of course, John Runyon over there. Those guys, Runyon and Thomas, have started over 100 games together. So they know all the adjustments that you got to make. They've seen everything in this league over the years, and they're handling this line right now. And if you do that, you're going to have success against the Lions.
Big game pitch. And a handoff. Touchdown, Curtis. Second of the game. And a player shaken up. Donovan McNabb took a hit and has to be helped up by Thomas DePay. A 12-yard touchdown pass, but the concern right now is on McNabb.
Beautiful play-action fake to Westbrook. And Dwayne White, that should have been a penalty there, as he just crushed him in the back after he released the ball. But you see, he's grabbing his back, though. I mean, that was a shot to the back, and I think...
Little concern up there now.
Well, his mom, Wilma, there just gave the thumbs up like, yeah, he's okay.
So he took a shot there, and David Akers on for the extra point once again. And fourth extra point of this first half, and the Eagles have opened up a 28-7 lead over the Lions, doing what they want at will against the visiting Detroiters.
In
today's luxury game, the question isn't whether or not your car has available features like a 40-gig hard drive. It isn't about sunroofs or Sapelli wood accents, pop-up nav screens, or any of that. No, the real question is, when you turn your car on, does it return the favor?
Interception. The commission of the More Taste League. Bingo. You fellows have gotten your hands on some non-sanctioned light beer?
There was a big shiny display.
The league only recognizes light beer with more taste and the scant 3.2 grams of carbs. That's the yin and the yang, the bot and the bing of light beer. Yes.
So which beers are league approved?
Beer, singular, Miller Lite.
Commish is wise.
Amen!
The official beer of the More Taste League, Miller Lite. Good call.
My name's K. Timothy Bollinger. I'm a search and rescue loadmaster on HC-130s from Timberlake, South Dakota. You know, coming from a small town and 400 people in my town, you know, the most expensive thing I ever drove was probably a tractor, you know, $30,000 maybe. Now I'm flying on a, you know, multi-million-dollar aircraft. You know, the pilot has his front, but everything from the back while we're flying is my house.
See more videos at DoSomethingAmazing.com.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Energizer E² Lithium. Keep going. By Miller Lite. For award-winning taste, there's no debate. Miller Lite. Good call. By Michelin. A better way forward. And by Cadillac. Introducing the all-new 2008 Cadillac CTS.
Do you think Westbrook is a little bit of a magnet for this offense? Watch everybody bite on this fake here of Detroit. Everybody goes to Westbrook. Great play action fake. And now down here, you got one-on-one coverage with Curtis. I mean, I think Andy Reid gets criticized for not being a good enough play caller. Between him and Marty Morningweg there, the former Lion coach, that was great play action.
Akers kicking off, and Calhoun this time 3 yards in the end zone, and they'll take it out of the 20 for a touchback. So McNabb has thrown 2 touchdown passes to Kevin Curtis, and Brian Westbrook has run for a pair.
All right, your shipments. Well, this one needs to be in LA by 8:30 a.m. This one's going to China, and Frank needs these in Akron next week. Now, wouldn't it be great if one driver could come and pick all this up at once? Well, that guy would work for UPS, because only UPS does that. It's not your shipments, it's your shipments with UPS. Let's go to some shorts. It's gonna be hot today.
Give it to me, 1, 2, 3. Introducing Applebee's new Ultimate Trios. Great taste, great big portions, and a great price. Choose 3 from 7 delicious options to create your ultimate flavor fest. Like our new 100% Angus beef mini bacon cheeseburgers. New crispy, plump, and spicy dynamite shrimp. And the new flame-grilled steak quesadilla tower. Ultimate Trios, ultimate platter at an unbeatable price. Only at Applebee's. Give it to me, 1, 2, 3.
You can practice risk avoidance. You can aspire to blend in quietly. You can live in, wear, and drive social camouflage. And you can believe in the philosophy that the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. Or you can be the hammer.
Come aboard the brand new season of The Simpsons with special guests
Lionel Richie, can you sing Say You, Say Me, but make it about beer?
Hey you, beer me.
No, make every word beer.
The season premiere.
Beer, 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 beer.
At 8, 7 Central tonight on Fox.
Eagles up 28-7, but this October baseball's best will move on to the postseason for a month of unscripted, thrilling, and gut-wrenching moments to see which team will be crowned a champion. Coverage of baseball's postseason begins October 12th with the ALCS, followed by the World Series, only on Fox. From the 20-yard line and out of the shotgun, John Kitna loses the time, and getting him from behind, number 75, Jaquay Thomas, and his second time he's gotten to the quarterback in the season.
That's because the receivers didn't get open. And that is a great testament to the coverage right now of William James there, Caselio Hansen, the guys out there covering these Greyhounds at receiver for the Lions. Caselio Hansen here has played great to this point.
2nd down and 10. Sean McDonald on the left was in motion, and Kitna lets it go, and the pass intended for McDonald, but just past his outstretched leap. But he had beaten the defender, brings up 3rd down.
Doesn't look like there's any rhythm to this offense right now. When you're 3 and out like they have been on 3 of the first 4 possessions, it's very difficult to get into a rhythm. And when your quarterback is getting hit like that, which should have been penalized because it went right to John Kitna's head, somehow that got missed. That throws you off.
Meanwhile, Donovan McNabb was not injured. Remember, he came off the field, hit in the back, but he's all right. 3rd down and 10, and here comes pressure by the Eagles, and Kitna goes down inside the 10. Quinton Michael starting in place of the leader of the defense, Brian Dawkins, and the Lions will lose 13.
Well, Quinton Michael is going to be coming right from the safety position through that gap, coming after Kitna. So he comes from depth. You're not really sure if he's coming. The running back missed him. Tatum Bell had a chance to get him, but he came so fast he was a blur past him. And right now, when John Kitna isn't comfortable standing on his spot, those are the bad plays that result.
3rd sack of the game by the Eagles, who have been dominating on both sides of the ball. Reno Mahe in Lion territory, and he is brought down at the 43-yard line. So this has been a total domination game by the Philadelphia Eagles in their throwback uniforms when they came to Philly 75 years ago.
Visa PayWave. Now there are more places and more ways to pay. Faster. Life takes Visa.
Coach! Coors Light Silver Ticket promotion. You get icy cold refreshment plus the chance to win NFL tickets.
Everybody has a chance to get their bite of the apple.
So you're saying everybody gets a chance to win NFL tickets?
The rules are fair.
Regulations?
The regulations are fair.
Competitive balance.
The competitive balance is fair.
Look for the official entry code inside special packs of Coors and Coors Light for your chance to win NFL tickets, even Super Bowl tickets, and more.
Is there anything I can't win?
High performance helicopter.
Everybody up! We are
Lay it on the line until the final whistle blows, and if you do that, we cannot lose.
We Are Marshall. Buy it now on DVD and high def.
Back to You is the #1 new comedy.
Holy cow, we got to promo the crap out of this!
And sending shockwaves across the country.
Supposed to get shot on air with the latest police taser?
Maybe you should take the hit.
Fire in the hole!
USA Today says Back to You will make you laugh out loud.
Wow, that was impressive. How are you feeling?
Kelsey Grammer and Patricia Heaton star in Back to You, followed by Till Death. All new Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Eagles lead 28-7, and they got the ball in Lion territory. Brian Dawkins may not be playing, but he's the
water boy.
Yeah, he's getting stuff done today.
You go from the Pro Bowl spiritual leader of this defense to being a water boy and a towel boy.
You know, he's not bad at that either.
He looked good. He didn't drop it. No, it's very good.
First down at the 43-yard line of the Lions. Donovan McNabb, 9 of 10 so far for 171 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Again has time. Again going deep, and wide open is Kevin Curtis, who walks in. And you wonder, when are the Lions going to cover him? 43 yards that time. And early in the second quarter, the Eagles are on the verge of having scored 35 points.
Well, watch the breakdown in coverage. I mean, the Eagles ran a trail route there, and Sims, the corner, or Keith Smith, the corner, they both bit on the underneath route, and the breakdowns right now I don't know if Rod Marinelli can count him.
And 2 of the touchdowns are one-play shots. One-play shots. That was 43 yards, and the extra point is good, and the Eagles lead 35-7. And less than 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter.
You know, McNabb did not like these uniforms, but I think he'll like it now. And the question was today, who would step up for the Eagles? And it's clear right now who the mystery guy is. It's Kevin Curtis. And maybe he wants to show up his old coach Mike Martz, but they've gotten the ball to him in every different way. On the hitch routes, on the underneath comebacks, on the big plays. 68 yards, the big plays of 43 yards. Right now, the Lions have no answer for Kevin Curtis.
And they have no answer in getting to Donovan McNabb, who has had all day to throw to Curtis, who has 8 catches for 187 yards and 3 TDs. So a career game already for Curtis, and we're early in the second.
You know, it's interesting because you watch Donovan McNabb on Monday night in the fourth quarter. And although, you know, he missed a play at the goal line and they didn't win the game, you saw McNabb come back. You saw the completions, the ball spread around to a lot of receivers. And I think everybody inside the organization was saying, I think Mac is back. I think Donovan is back. You could feel it, and now today he's shown it.
And you know, he always does that, doesn't he? I mean, just when you're ready to put dirt on him, he's out there to show you something else. That's how determined he is. And the kick sails out of the end zone for a touchback. Well, tomorrow, after an all-new prison break, don't miss the new action drama that everyone is talking about, K-Ville. All new tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only on Fox.
If you want to run a wide-open offense the way Detroit does, you've got to protect your quarterback. The key is on the offensive line, and today they're getting beat. They're getting beat at the snap. And then the thing I think that's surprising is the receivers aren't winning as well. But against the depleted secondary, they're not getting open for Kitna to get in the ball.
Well, they're not getting time. The offensive line, the story here, Eagles are doing it, Lions are not. And on first down, pass is caught. And a first down, Calvin Johnson. And that'll be his first catch of the game, the second overall pick in the draft from Georgia Tech. And he has caught 2 TD passes in 2 games.
See, he's going out right now. He's really been featured when they come in with 4 wide receivers. He's a rookie learning a difficult offense, and so he's not out there every play yet. But as he learns more, he'll get more and more playing time.
19-yard gain and a first down on the Lion 39. Kitna has an open man, and it's Kevin Jones out of the backfield. And he is out of bounds in Eagle territory after he picks up 16.
Well, you can see how Philadelphia has dominated everything in this game right now. I mean, 317 yards of offense. We're not halfway through the second quarter. This could be the greatest day that Donovan McNabb and his offense has ever had. And then when you're keeping the defense on the field as long as they have, they do get tired.
And 2 of their touchdowns, 1 play. They had a 7-play drive and a 10-play drive. And now the Lions call.
Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So a tough day so far for Rod Marinelli and George Foster, who came over in a trade from the Broncos. 5 yards, full start.
Well, the other upgrade on the offensive line was the left guard, Edwin Mulitalo, from the Baltimore Ravens. In fact, both guards, Woody and Mulitalo, have played on Super Bowl champion teams.
First down and 15. They were happy with the offensive line, but today it's been a different story. And the pass caught at the 45 by Mike Furry, his first catch of the game. And another former Ram. And he gets about 5.5.
If you're either team right now, the worst thing you can do is look at the scoreboard. I mean, you have to just play right now. Defensively, you can't say we're up 4 touchdowns. Let's just keep it in front of us, because then you start giving up completions. And offensively, you're looking for a rhythm.
James matched up against Furry, and Kitna loses the ball. And he recovers his own fumble, covers up. And that time Trent Cole came in and knocked it away.
It's Trent Cole working against Jeff Backus, and the strength of Trent Cole is how low he can get. And the hardest thing for an offensive tackle in this league is to get as low as guys that get down like that. It's hard for them to bend their knees and get in front of them. Trent Cole has that ability. 4th
sack of the game by the Eagle defense. Loss of 5. Brings up 3rd down and 15. And there's Kitna. And going deep for Calvin Johnson. And Calvin Johnson makes the catch. Double cover downfield at the 11-yard line. And Calvin Johnson slow getting up. Sheldon Brown and Quinton Michael were all over him. And what a catch.
Well, they squeeze this as well as you can. Calvin Johnson gets inside Sheldon Brown, and that's why he was the most feared receiver coming out of college, the best receiver, his ability to go up and really just grab the ball like that.
How about the concentration there?
Yeah.
About 39 of 40 yards as they tend to Calvin Johnson. And the Lions threatening, coming back somewhat.
Only the Nissan Titan has a Utilitrack cargo system and the longest crew cab bed in its class. You choose the tie-down points, you choose the angle. Because Nissan thinks when you put something in your bed, it should stay there. The new 2008 full-size Nissan Titan, the Titan of trucks. Now get up to $3,500 Nissan cashback or 1.9% APR financing.
Welcome to Lowe's. May I help you?
Yes, we have this kitchen. We'd love to have this kitchen.
Let me show you some options.
Hey, let's get started.
Have you thought about under cabinet?
At Lowe's, our kitchen specialists can help you build the kitchen you've always dreamed of. We'll walk you through every step, even installation, with your budget in mind. When you come to Lowe's, you'll find more than a salesperson. You'll find a partner. Lowe's, let's build something together.
Television's hottest investigating team. TV's most fascinating doctor. The best night of drama is Fox Tuesday. First, it's a new night for Bones.
We're back.
That is so hot.
With a season premiere so surprising, words can't describe it.
Us working together, very symbiotic.
What is it, the word of the day?
Bones. Then, new season.
This woman is dying.
New team.
Anybody here a doctor?
As always.
This will be the longest job interview of your life.
House rules.
At the end of 6 weeks, one of you will be gone, as will 28 more of you.
House, the season premiere after Bones. It all starts Tuesday at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Rod Marinelli, star rookie, injured on the other side of the field, but notice how Jason Avant and Donovan McNabb over there, and many of the Eagles as well, to see how Calvin Johnson is doing, and it's this is great to see this.
Well, concern on both sides. Coaching staffs, I mean, Andy Reid is over there, the defensive staff. I think everybody that had a chance to scout Calvin Johnson during that process in the spring coming out of Georgia Tech realize what kind of a great kid this is, what kind of a great player he's going to be.
John Kitna said he's everything they said physically, but he says he is a humble guy. He takes teaching well, and yet he's not passive. So there you see being helped off the field.
Watch this. He never was able to break his fall because he's concentrating on the ball. He squeezes it. He falls right on the right side of his back. And then in addition to that, his head whiplashed up against the turf.
And now walking off more assuredly. So we'll get a report on Calvin Johnson, who made a spectacular catch right near the sideline with 2 defenders right there. Had great concentration to hold on to the ball. So now the Lions back to work, have a 1st down and 10 on the Eagle 11. Roy Williams to the top of your picture. Kitna has some time, and Williams could not hold on to the ball, and he had a chance to make that catch.
You know what happened? The ball was dying, Dick, and Roy was trying to score, and so he was falling away from a ball that was dying. Watch Roy. He wants to turn this thing in to a touchdown there, and he forgot about concentrating on the football first before he started turning his body.
Well, there was an opportunity because He had no really defender.
No, nobody around it, but catch the ball first before you do anything else with it.
Second down and 10. Kidna 7 for 15. Kidna drills it, caught by Sean McDonald. And McDonald gets in. Touchdown, Lions.
So that's a good player. He caught that ball, Dick, and immediately turned north-south right to the goal line and split two defenders to squeeze that ball across the goal line.
Well, Kidna hits McDonald for 11 yards. Second touchdown of the game for Detroit.
See that they're running that bunch formation, and the two outside guys of the bunch went deep, taking the coverage with them. McDonald just slipped in behind him.
And he has more receiving yards after 2 weeks plus than he did all of last year. So he's got a chance to make this a banner campaign, and Jason Hanson on for the extra point. And the Eagle lead now is 35-14.
Jon Kitna was raving. I mean, a lot of people talking about Calvin Johnson and the #2 pick in the draft. Jon Kitna couldn't stop talking about Sean McDonald enough last night.
Came in as the leading receiver for the Lions. 8 plays and 80 yards, and the 39-yard catch by Calvin Johnson, who was shaken up, set it all up. Well, Fox's football coverage doesn't end when the games are over. Afterwards, you got to stick around for the OT, where Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy bring you exclusive interviews, extended highlights, and a look ahead to next week's action. The OT, presented by Lowe's, coming up after the late games, only on Fox. And now Calvin Johnson is going to ride into the locker room.
He looked like he was in more pain sitting down, getting on that cart, getting carried into the locker room than he was just walking. He'll go in there and x-ray that back right now, Dick, and just see if there's anything broken or if it's just going to be a deep bruise.
So 2 scary injuries in 2 weeks for the Lions. Kitna last week with the mild concussion, and now Calvin Johnson leading. Jason Hanson to kick off for Detroit with 8:45 remaining in the first half. Terrell Buckhalter, 4 yards in the end zone, runs it out. And not letting go from behind, as Buckhalter brings it out to the 22 is Eric Frampton. So Donovan McNabb goes back to work. 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns today for the Philadelphia Eagles. Brian Westbrook scoring on 2 runs, and McNabb hitting Kevin Curtis for 3 scores.
It's amazing that the Eagles could struggle as badly as they did the first 2 weeks and come out and be absolutely perfect here in the first half of this game.
And there was some question as to what kind
on a
of
short
Eagle
week.
team would
On a short weekend, you play Monday night, and here you are on Sunday.
First down on the 22. Play fake. And the screen pass to Westbrook. Westbrook to the 50. Westbrook. And the way he picks his way with blockers in front, and sometimes without. And Brian Westbrook getting 46 yards before Alexander stops him at the 31.
Well, he looks like a Ferrari in traffic is what you're saying here. I mean, nobody feels the screen on the defensive line. Now look at Sean Andrews out front, Jamal Jackson up front, and that's what he's so good at, just setting his blockers up. You know, and he looks like he's the smoothest guy out there, under control all the way, letting the guys do their work, and he just has that ability to shift gears when he has to.
Has 10 touches in the game thus far and gets a breather as Buckhalter comes in for it. It'll be a first down for the Eagles on the line 31. Timeout, Philadelphia. With exactly 8 minutes remaining in the first half as we send it down to Jennifer Hammond.
Well, Dick and Brian, Calvin Johnson has been taken inside to the Lions locker room. They will further evaluate. It is a back injury, but at this point in time, his return is questionable.
All right, Jennifer, thank you very much. So Calvin Johnson, a lot of people were wondering whether Tampa Bay would pick up Johnson, and they needed a receiver, they felt, and the Lions are happy once again.
Or if the Lions would take another receiver with a top flight pick. But I think Matt Millen, who made the selection, the president of the Detroit Lions, said that we couldn't, you had to take the best player. And really, they've struck gold on two of them, on Roy Williams and on Calvin Johnson, and then, Charlie Rogers and Mike Williams, they didn't work out.
I think there's a law in the state of Michigan that the Detroit Lions have to draft the wide receiver on the first pick.
Well, you don't go wrong when you're drafting Roy Williams and Calvin Johnson.
We don't have to touch on some of the others. First down at the 31 and up the middle. Pass caught by Matt Schobel. Remember, L.J. Smith is out. Procedure on the groin after having the sports hernia. That's a big loss for the Eagles. So Matt Schobel and Brent Selleck, the rookie tight end, manning that position as the Eagles get 10.
Well, right now, when I watch this, the Lion defense, they haven't been able to take anything away. And as a defense, when you put up a game plan, all right, you're trying to take something away and force the team to do something else. And to this point, the Lions defense hasn't taken anything away.
Ernie Sims may be shaken up. There's McNabb's numbers. Only one incompletion. Already has thrown for 245 and 3 touchdowns. And as Sims comes off the field, so another Lion shaken up. You've got to talk about the fact that the offensive line of the Eagles has been nearly perfect, and the Lions have struggled in that department.
We haven't mentioned a defensive lineman's name of Detroit yet today.
First down on the 21 of the Lions. Westbrook. Slanting off the left side, and Alexander brings him down, but not before he picks up 14 more.
I'm telling you, I would not practice Brian Westbrook the rest of the season on Wednesday or Thursday. I'd put the ball in his hands on Friday and let him come out fresh and look like this. He was saying that one of the problems they had the first 2 weeks was Donovan coming off the injury. They were working so hard to get him involved in the offense and getting his flow back. And he said, when we were successful the last 6 weeks of the season last year, the emphasis was to get me going early. And that's what I like to do. And they've done that today.
They like McNabb to get into rhythm, and Westbrook says, what about me? Well, here he is once again as Westbrook down to the 3.5-yard line. And he's approaching 100, actually about 84 yards right at this point. And we still have 6:20 to go.
Brian Westbrook spoke out after Monday night. He said that he didn't think that they were ready to play, that the level of focus was where it needed to be on Monday. And he's the leader of the team. He's not afraid to speak out and say it. He said they were too loose and before they were getting results.
Ernie Sims is back in. Second down and goal. Play action. Watch out from behind. And the ball is knocked loose. A free ball. And the Lions recover. And it was Corey Smith who came from behind. And they ruled it a fumble initially.
There's Corey Smith chasing him from behind. Oh, yeah, nah, that ball wasn't going forward. He was still cocking that ball right there. And Corey Smith in place of Kalimba Edwards right now out there today at right end makes the biggest defensive play of the day for the Lions.
And that is the first sack of the game by the Lions defense. Loss of 6, and they get the ball.
Well, you have a tuck rule in the NFL where if the ball is going forward at all, then that would be an incompletion. But right there, I think it's clear that that ball was still being put in position to throw it, and the arm wasn't going forward.
So the Lions have the ball on the 9-yard line. First turnover there, and the pass out of the backfield. Tatum Bell did all he could do to hold on to it as Quentin Michael with the crunching hit. Just 1 yard that time.
Dick, that last play by Corey Smith is one of those plays that if things get crazy in this game and the Lions make a comeback, you go back to that play. Because here are the Eagles going in for their 6th straight touchdown in a row, and they get stopped. And now the Lions have something to do about that, what they can do with it offensively.
I'll tell you, the Eagles inspired defensively. And you saw Michael, who's in for Dawkins, making the big play there. And there is Kitna. Let's see if it's a free play. The pass caught by Roy Williams. And Roy Williams in a foot race. Being chased by Quentin Michael. And in for the touchdown is Roy Williams.
And it's going to be an offside against the Eagles. This play is going to stand.
91 yards. And so Kitna, sensing it on the slant, had the free play, and Williams took it all the way.
Offside. Defense, number 93. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Well, you have to be a prophetic guy because we saw the play made seconds ago.
There's a 14-point turnaround right there in a matter of about 30 seconds. But here's Roy on a slant. And this is what Roy Williams is not supposed to be able to do. Outrun a defense. The knock on him is he doesn't have that breakaway speed. But you can see that you get him in the open field, he's got his radar on, he's looking in the rearview mirror, and he's running just as fast as he has to in order to score.
And the extra point, Jason Hanson, as the Lions coming back, scoring the last 2 touchdowns in this wild game with 5:01 to go. And Roy Williams, who caught a 54-yarder early to set up the first touchdown, now has a touchdown reception in his 5th consecutive game.
Well, Mike Martz said that Roy Williams could be the best receiver he's ever coached, and that would include Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and a bunch of others. And he's just not there yet. But, you know, right now we're looking at a game. It sort of reminds me of what we saw in Cleveland last week, Cincinnati and Cleveland, where 51, 6 touchdowns by Carson Palmer and they lose. I don't think any defense right now is safe to shut the other team down.
Williams with 3 catches for 151 yards. And the touchdown, and of course the one aspect that Mike Martz was talking to us about was the discipline. He says if Roy Williams can really improve in the discipline area, he would be the best. And well, you look at the players you mentioned on the Rams that Martz coached, pretty high company.
Well, yeah, including some Super Bowl MVPs.
Calvin Johnson was shaken up. The preliminary report is that he injured his back, was taken into the locker room. There's Correll Buckhalter ready to return the kick. So this crowd, which has been at a fevered pitch really through most of this first half, tempered somewhat by 2 straight scores by the Lions. Buckhalter. And he stepped out of the end zone. He had no choice there. And there was a mix-up. Buckhalter had a foot out, and the other return man, Thomas DePay, was saying stay in. He couldn't. It was too late.
The Eagles don't have a bona fide return man. Week 1, they put Greg Lewis back there in the punt return. He was a disaster. And just the indecision here of an experienced return man, that's the last thing that you want to do. Now he loses his blocker there, Thomas DePay, as well, when he decides to come out. So he has no protector that can make the first block.
First down with just under 5 minutes remaining in the half, and now the Lions see what the Lions can do defensively to get the ball back. First down. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining, and here's McNabb. Thought about pitching it out and goes out of bounds after a gain of about 4. And as they mark it, it's looks like more of a 2-yard gain for McNabb.
Just watching Donovan kind of jog back to the huddle there. That looks like the old Donovan moving. Just the way he's been able to escape pressure today, rescue a couple of plays.
Nimble.
Yeah, we thought maybe after the injury those days might be over, but it looks like it's coming back a little bit.
Still has thrown only 1 incompletion, 12 of 13. 3 touchdown passes. Here's the handoff. Westbrook, he just doesn't go down, does he? Brian Westbrook, and he picks up 17 more. First down.
Guys like this are not supposed to break tackles as frequently as Westbrook does, or even run inside like that. He gets a good block from Runyon on a tackle trap. Tackle there, just ran right over the safety.
And 101 yards now.
Yeah, but watch it put the hit here on Bashir, runs through that tackle and then just unloads on Fernando Bryant and runs him over.
Buckhalter comes back in the game on first down, and the pitch is to Correll Buckhalter. And Buckhalter carries it out to the 37-yard line. And a gain of 6 yards on the play. Ernie Sims making the tackle. So here you have Curtis with 187 yards in receptions, Brian, and Westbrook with 101 yards rushing in the first half.
Let me ask you this, Dick. I mean, we're watching this game here. We're in the second quarter, a couple minutes left. Do you feel like the Eagles are in position to win this game? I mean, you feel 35 points is going to be enough today?
I'm going to say the jury is still out because of Mike Martz's ability to get huge, passes free.
Who would think that the Eagles could score 35 in the first half, and that's going to be a lock to win a game? I don't feel that way early.
Second down and 5, again with a lot of time. Receivers seem to be covered for McNabb, and this pass is caught by Curtis again. Who else? Kevin Curtis with the reception. And into Lion territory and a first down at the 45.
And sometimes receivers have to step up and make big plays. And that time, Curtis was able to, almost like a shovel, get his hands underneath the ball and cradle that in. The Eagles go into a hurry up here so that maybe they don't have a chance to review it.
Why can't the Lions do anything against Curtis as Tepay gets a couple of yards? What's happening out there?
Well, first of all, their corners aren't good enough to lock him up. The first 2 weeks, the Green Bay Packers had Al Harris and Charles Woodson. Last week there was Sean Springs and Rodgers. I mean, those guys can get on them and play sticky man-to-man. The Lions don't have those type of cornerbacks.
Second down for the Eagles, and about 8. And we're going to wind down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go. If you like offense, spectacular plays, we've had it. Eagles 35, Lions 21. Two minutes remaining in the first half here in Philadelphia. Dick Stockton along with Brian Baldinger, Jennifer Hammond down on the field. And the Eagles lead 35-21. They are up 35-7, and John Kitna with a couple of touchdown passes has brought the Lions back. Question is, what can the Lions do defensively? There you see Max Gene Gillis, number 62, has replaced the Pro Bowler Sean Andrews at right guard. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining in the half, second inning. Ned flips it to Westbrook. Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Brian Westbrook continues to find a way. Last week, a couple of big runs against Washington and a 43-yard touchdown run. Stanley Wilson missed the tackle, and there's an injured Lion on the field, but Wilson's not the only one who has missed him today. And Ernie Sims is shaken up.
This is about the most basic, simple play that the Eagles do. Walk, let the rush come, and then let Westbrook just turn around. Now he's got Max Gene out there, breaks that tackle, breaks that tackle, breaks that one. Let's say 3 clearly broken tackles. He's like, where is everybody else chasing me right now as he gallops into this end zone?
He was stumbling at one point, right there.
That's a big-time move. A lot of guys go down right there. A lot of guys don't, after going down, don't have that extra power and then the burst to break that last tackle.
98 yards in receiving yards and 101 rushing for Westbrook. And Ernie Sims, who was shaken up earlier, still down. And there is the defensive coordinator, Joe Barry, who's in his first year.
This last play by Westbrook sort of incorporates everything that you look for in a running back. I mean, hands. I mean, just his ability to kind of set up a screen, kind of fake, now turn around. Okay, now set up your blockers. That's important. Get the big guys out there. All right, now you got to change direction. Now you got to get down in one hand. You got to break that. Now run through the gauntlet. How many tackles can you break? Now you got your head on a swivel. Anybody going to get me here? Sort of incorporates everything that you want in a featured back.
Sims walking off the field with some help, flanked by a couple of trainers.
We've seen some explosive games already this season, early in the season, Dick, and you look at this Eagle offense and in the Detroit line offense, you go, why are the offenses so far ahead of the defense? I think it's these extended off seasons now where, I mean, these teams are together for 12, 14, 15 weeks in the off season, and the timing and the rhythm is there. way before they get to training camp.
And it's amazing because usually in preseason, the offenses are slow
behind.
getting going.
Yeah, but they're not behind anymore because I think of all the extra work they're getting in the offseason.
David Akers on for yet another extra point, and it's good. And it is now 42-21. As you look at Donovan McNabb's number, and I'll tell you what, it's a three-man team today. It's Westbrook, Curtis, and Donovan McNabb. And you asked the question a little while ago, do you think that the Philadelphia Eagles were in control? They scored that last touchdown. I have to say, if the Detroit Lions can't slow them down somewhat, no, it's the Eagles' day. Right?
Well, they can't slow them down right now. I mean, they're not covering well. They're not tackling well right now. Now, is it the greatness of Westbrook and Kevin Curtis, or are the Lions here guilty of some of this yardage that they're giving up? I mean, there's almost 500 yards of offense here.
What do you think?
I mean, to me, it's the Eagles players right now and the rhythm that they're in. I don't think the Lions can stop them, but I'm not so sure that the Eagles defense can stop the Lions here as well. I mean, they have stopped them at times, but when they've given up the big plays, they've scored.
Well, they got a 21-point lead. They've been doubled up, half these Lions. I mean, Roy Williams already had a big day with a touchdown catch and has gone 151 yards. We told you about McNabb. There's Kevin Cobb, who is the backup quarterback and the rookie. And, of course, a lot of discussion with the Eagles drafting Cobb as their first pick. Came in the second round as to what does that mean. David Akers kicking off, and Brian Calhoun returning from the 3.
Run!
And he is tackled just beyond the 25. Well, coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats.
Good look to Sean Andrews coming back out of the locker room. I was talking to him before the game, and he had never played against Sean Rogers before, the talented defensive tackle of the Lions. And Sean went to his first Pro Bowl last year. He was looking forward to that matchup today, him and Rogers inside. So far, the Eagles have dominated that matchup.
Troy Walters, number 17 in the game at wide receiver, diminutive one. Kitna stepping up, and the pass caught by Roy Williams about 3 yards shy of the first down.
Dick, I would say to put this game in the capsule, this is a fantasy football dream game here today.
Second down and 3 with under a minute and a half to go, and false start will be called against the right side of the Lions line.
False start. Offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
George Foster, and he's had a few penalties today, 3 to be exact.
Well, when you want to run a wide open offense like the Lions do, it puts an awful lot of pressure on the offensive line. We're on a short corner here. There's no tight ends. Quicker route to the quarterback.
Second down and 8. Pass batted down at the line by Darren Howard.
Illegal contact. Defense. Number 21. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's amazing. It looks like you're going to stop them, and then all of a sudden, away from the play, you have a defensive penalty. William James commits it, and it's an automatic first.
When a short corner, I'm saying right here, these ends right here have a very easy route to the quarterback. There's nobody here that they have to go outside. And so it's a quicker route to get there. And so even when Kitna completes a pass, a lot of times he takes a hit at the end. And there's only so many hits that you can incur during the course of a season.
First down. There's the pressure on Kitna today. And Roy Williams. And they'll call it a catch just shy of the first down marker, and a 9-yard pickup.
See, now the game plan today coming in for Sheldon Brown was to get up on Roy Williams and not let him get off this line of scrimmage. But when you score on the type of plays that Roy has scored today, you don't want to give up the big play at this time of the game, so you give him a little bit of a cushion in front of him.
Already 5 catches, 167 yards, and a score. Second and 1. Lions have only 1 timeout left. Here's Kitna. And Kitna going deep. Again, good coverage downfield, and the ball's knocked away from Roy Williams. As Quinton Michael and Sheldon Brown were in the neighborhood.
This is a heck of a play. Kitna rolls right, and then they come back to Roy Williams, but really a good job of being double teamed by Michael and Brown, but you can see the athletic ability and the acrobatic ability of Roy Williams going for that ball.
You've had a few injuries today, and we have an update here. And Sean Andrews, who you saw coming back on the field, questionable as to his return to an eye injury. So it's 3rd down and 1. Kitna, and he gets it in the hands of Troy Walters. And Walters going